I don't know exactly about this, but whenever what I remember from 12th, I haven't read this as such in psychology, but in diagrams that we have like this, so there are two values that we have. One is variable, one is invariable. Usually, that's how we take a curve, and the variable values can be like basically when we make something in particular, like if she's talking about logic, so if we take the IQ level of people, then we take that as equals, and then if we are doing a study on a behavior in particular other than affecting the IQ, so the IQ is can be as a invariable value, and then whatever we are trying to figure out on that basis, others will be invariable, and the curve will be according to that. So there is an axis and there is a y axis, and depending on, so for example, the topmost part of this curve is a little flat though, but that line will be the highest value of whatever we are calculating, and the valley part, the bottommost part will be the lowest value of that curve.
Okay. Anyone else?
Sir, maximum population has some common or similar features, and extreme or extra or below normal or rare features are rare.
Okay.
There would also be an average value which would be going through the center of this graph.
Uh-huh.
From that average value, we would be comparing the highest and the lowest scores.
See, my drawing is pathetic, but if we talk about theoretical, this now
Sir,
probability
this
curve,
is a parametric distribution, I think.
parametric distribution.
Yes.
Okay. So if we talk about normal probability curve, see this particular question will come in exam. So you can write it down. This is all theoretical, which you have to study yourself. I am just making a base so that we can move forward with the statistics. Okay.
So can you repeat the question?
This particular question will come in examination. So make sure you study
What is the
this
question exactly?
normal probability curve. What is normal probability curve? Define the characteristics of non-normal probability curve.
Okay.
Right. So this particular topic you need to study. Another theoretical topic which would come in your examination is the difference between parametric and non-parametric statistics. Parametric and non-parametric. ठीक है? So ये दो चीजें हैं theoretical which you need to study on your own. And if you face any problem, you can ask me. But right now, I would be focusing more on numericals, and because of which I am making a base of normal probability curve. Is that okay with everyone? That I focus more on.
Sir, yes, that's fine. But I'm having confusion in parametric and non-parametric statistics as well. So will it be better that we discuss in the last?
Yes, we can do that. But to understand parametric and non-parametric, you would have to again understand normal probability curve.
Sir, I do understand what is NPC, but somehow I am unable to differentiate between parametric and non-parametric. थोड़ा बहुत मुझे समझ में आ गया है, but exact समझ नहीं आया है. मतलब I don't know कि मैंने जो समझा है वो सही है कि नहीं.
Okay, no problem. We'll talk about it later.
No, please explain as you will explain to a novice.
I am doing that. Wait, just give me one moment. I have to see how to figure out this. Yeah. एक तो यार प्लीज आप लोग टाइम पे आया करें, अभी भी बच्चे आ रहे हैं. So from next turn onwards, please be on time. Right? It's very distracting that I am working on some numerical and people keep on coming. So please try to join the class before the class starts. Right? So let us take an example to understand the concept of normality in psychology. Right? Let's say we have a particular construct called IQ, as you all are interested in. Can anybody explain me what is an IQ?
Intelligence quotient.
What is intelligence?
Sir, to understand things and to adapt in the environment, or to grasp things, to learn things more efficiently.
ठीक है. So
Situation and understanding of a particular situation, and then to react in a particular manner with the response.
So you might be amazed to know that IQ has different meanings for different people, right? So let's not get into that the particular debate. Let's say IQ is something related to problem solving, for the sake of understanding. ठीक है? So now let's say that we have to test IQ of the people. So what result which we'll get will be something related to this. फिर कोई आ गया है. So it will go something like this, right? What does this means? This means that most of the people will lie here and would be average. So there would be around 2% people, right? 1.96 something, who will be low, and there will be 1.96 again who will be higher. Then there will be some people here who will be above average, and there will be some people who are here will be below average, and above the extreme low. What I'm trying to say here is that, let's say I am measuring IQ with the 10 questions, and every question is measured on a Likert scale of 1 to 5. Do you all understand this 1 to 5?
Yes.
Right. So if someone says 1 for all the 10 questions, he will get 10 in total score. Getting the point?
Yes.
And if someone scores high, like 5 on every item, he'll get 50. So the range of marks which we will get from this particular test will be 10 to 50. Correct?
Yes, sir.
We can put 10 here and 50 here to understand. So most of the people will be average. And as we go higher, the percentage will become lower. As we go down, the percentage will become lower again. Got it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And there are many kinds of normal probability curve also. We will not call it normal, but statistically they become normal. Few are like this. Then we have something called like this. Then we have something called like this. So all you need to understand, all you need to read, these are all theoretical things, right? When the high score accumulates here, we call it, I think, leptocortic. When the curve is flattened, we call it mesocortic, something like that. Okay. So in psychology, we basically mean that फिर कोई आया है. So in psychology, we basically mean that most of the people will be average on a particular trait, right? Now, this does not clearly mean that we would be average on every trait. For example, you are measuring IQ, so I might be in average, but on some other aspect, I might be the extreme higher. Correct? Getting the point?
Yes.
Okay. So now to assess or now to predict, we need to understand how this distribution works. So I would request all of you to just, I think it is in book number 1, so you can read a book. Guys, from the next turn, please be on time. I will not allow anyone after 10 minutes of starting the class. So let us start with the mean today, right now, and then we will see how we predict a particular score with the help of a previous score and with in the we try to see with the help of non-probability curve dimensions. Do you guys know what do you understand by a term called mean?
So mean is average
Average.
of a particular range.
Sir, it is number of observations or number of entries or items divided by the number of observations. Sum of observations divided by number of observations.
Okay. So we have a few things to just know before. We have basically two kind of statistics which we will be talking about. One is descriptive. Another one is inferential. The purpose of descriptive statistics is to define the data and the purpose of inferential is to infer from the data, to predict. ठीक?
Yes, sir.
Are you all sitting with pen and copy?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just give me one moment. Let me see. Do you guys know what do you understand by the term parameter and statistics?
No.
No? Okay. So let's take another example. I have to understand IQ of IQ. This is my research problem. I am going to study IQ of, you are a July 21 batch?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Students. ठीक है? IQ of July 21 IGNOU psychology first year students. ठीक है? So this is my population which comprises of all the students of July 21 IGNOU batch.
So
Can you
sorry,
tell
sir.
me-
Please repeat, sir. My connection got disconnected, sir.
क्या सुना आपने अभी तक?
सर सिर्फ जुलाई 21 सुना अभी. मतलब अभी जो अभी आप मेरे को डिफरेंस बता रहे थे वो
So
रह
we
गया.
are trying to understand what is population and what is statistics. or
Okay,
sample.
sir. Okay, sir.
Let's say we have to study a particular problem. We have to explore the IQ of all the students of July 21 batch of MA psychology. So can you tell me how many students would be there in MA psychology July 21 batch?
There are about 44 here, and I think there are two groups. That
Right, but if we talk about July 21 IGNOU students, I think
Thousands. In thousands.
thousands of them, because in India this program is running. Right, so if we want to know the exact number of population, we have to go to IGNOU and ask for the details. So if we have the exact number of people, we call it a finite population. Sometimes, let's say I want to talk about IQ of Indians. Although government have some data, but that is not true. So in that case, we call it infinite population because we do not know how much population is exactly there. Correct? Are you getting the point of finite and infinite?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let's say we have 5,000 students enrolled. Do you think assessing IQ of 5,000 is feasible?
No.
Right?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Few people might not even talk to us. Few people might say that yes, a bakwas hai. Few people might give us data. Right. So out of, even if we have a finite population, we will not be able to collect IQ scores of all the people. So what we do is we draw out some sample,
Yeah.
a small representative sample. Representative sample. Let's say 500 or let's say 50. Now in statistics, in the RM, you will know about the various methods of drawing out a sample from a population. So here, this 5,000 is the population, finite population, and this is the sample. Okay. What we are trying to do, we are trying to understand about this particular group with the help of this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Trying to understand population with the help of sample. So whatever results will come out from the sample, we call it statistics. And if we are able to know about the population, we call it a parameter. ठीक?
Means if we
सर
get
इसको
the
एक बार
results,
प्लीज रिपीट कर देंगे?
means sir, if we get the results from the sample, we call it the statistics. And if
Yes.
we get the results from the population, we call it parameter.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
But because फिर कोई आया है. But because we are unable to get a parameter from the sample, from the population, we try and infer it with the help of statistics, because we know we can deal with this particular data, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's take another example. I take a test of 10 students on statistics, and they have scored 75, 65, 55, 57, 71, 68, 14, 33, 69, 59. So these are the marks of 10 students. ठीक? Can you tell me what is the mean here? What is the mean of this particular group? You have to take it out exactly. Please use your mobile phone. All right. Another thing is that you are allowed to use a simple calculator in the exam also. So please arrange a simple calculator.
56.6.
56.6. Can we say that the average number of marks of RM is 56.6? And this 56.6 defines a particular sample? Can we say?
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, because some are very extreme from the mean, like 75.
So
And
what
14.
we are just describing here a particular group. Let's say this group comprises of 10 students, right? And we are just assigning a particular number to this group so that we can define it. We can say with the help of mean that the students scored above average marks, right? This is how we interpret means.
Yeah.
Right. But there is a small problem here. The problem is something called outlier. Anybody know what is an outlier?
No.
On average,
Sir,
Outlier,
which is much different from the rest of
the
the
rest of the group.
33
The
for
extreme,
Yes.
extreme.
14.
Either it
Extreme.
could be extreme right or either it could be extreme left. Let
Yeah.
us take, yes. we can say 14 is the lowest and we can say 75 is the
14.
highest,
Hmm.
right? But if you clearly, if you look at the distribution, I think more
75.
than 75, it is 14.
Yeah.
So now let's take out 14 from the group and tell me the mean of 9 people.
Sir, 61.3.
61.3, right? And another outlier would be 33.
Yeah.
Now delete 33 and tell me the mean of 8 people.
4.875.
4.
64.8.
64.875. So I think we can say here, if we are deleting outliers, if we are keeping them not in our analysis, if we are ignoring them, we are able to explain, we are getting the mean, which is better description of the sample.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yeah.
So mean is one method to know, to describe the data, but then mean is affected by outlier. सबको समझ में आया ये बात?
Yes, sir.
आगे बढ़े?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next we have something called median. Median is also used to describe the data, right? Mean, median, mode are all the measures of central tendency. When we say central tendency, it means a middle point which is explaining the data. Okay. So because mean has some errors, we are now talking about median. ठीक है, फिर से एग्जांपल लेते हैं. Let's say we have a group of 10, 75, 71, 68, 65, 55, 69, 50, 69 again. Then we have 61, 51, 45. Can you guys tell me how we can find out the mean?
We write the values in
First-
ascending or descending order and then take out the middle point.
Correct. So median is the middle point. Please arrange the data in ascending or descending, whatever you like. Please do it
So
and let me know.
45,
51.
155, 6,
69.
Then
55, 61,
65, 68.
65.
65, 68, 65, 68, 71.
Krish, number 20, please mute yourself. Thank you.
Correct?
Yeah.
Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 values. How can we find out the middle term?
There will be two middle terms, and then the average of them is median.
5 plus 6. We do 65 plus 68 divided by 2 is equal to
66.5.
66.5.
5.
Cool.
Yes.
ठीक है ये?
Yes, sir.
जल्दी से फटाफट कोई एक आदमी, अरे ये डिस्टरबेंस हो रहा है भाई, बंद कर दो प्लीज.
इसमें दो वैल्यूज सेम है, will that matter?
नो. अब जल्दी से फटाफट इसका मीन भी निकाल दो इस पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप का.
So can you explain how to take the mean?
Add all the sums divided by the number of frequency. For example, add all the sums, we get a score
62.9.
and divided by number of terms, 110. 60?
62.9.
You see how difference is mean and median? Then we have, but if we have only 9 terms to take out a median from, we will take a middle term.
Right.
Let's
Then
say,
it will be fifth
let's
data.
say ignore 60, 75. Now we have only 71. So we will choose this one as a middle term, as the median. ये समझ में आया किसको?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, एक और होता है छोटा सा, उसको हम बोलते हैं मोड. ठीक है, and mode has a formula. Three into median minus 2 into mode will give you an answer of mode.
Right.
ठीक है, तो ये तीन तो आसान आसान है, आप लोगों ने पहले ही पढ़े होंगे 8th 9th 10th 6th में.
सर 3 मीडियन माइनस 2 मीन है, 2 मोड है.
2 mean. Mode is equal to, जब when we are
Yes.
trying to find out mode, we have to find out median and we have to find out mean also.
Yes.
So thrice of median minus 2 into mean. ठीक है, पहले इंटू करना फिर माइनस करना. यूज बॉड मास ऑलवेज.
Yeah.
ठीक है, आगे बढ़े.
Yes, sir.
कूल. अब जो नेक्स्ट है वो भी बहुत आसान है, सिंपल सा. वी कॉल इट द मेजर्स ऑफ वेरिएबिलिटी. And trust me, these are very easy when you do the sums. But only thing is you have to practice. If you are not practicing, then either you are in statistics, either you score more than 75% or you fail. Right? So pay attention, because your one mistake can create a lot of problem. There is something again. Let's take data again. We have 75, 71, 69, 68, 51, 45, 55, 65, 72. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 59. Can anybody take out mean?
$63.
Sir 63.
63. Can anybody take out a median?
60. $48.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. 48.
Can anybody take out mode?
$18.
18.
Yeah.
18, sir.
Now let's say I have to write a paragraph about this particular score. So I will either explain mean, either I will say the mode is 48, or I will say the mode is 18, median is 48, and mean is 63. Right? So a lot of times it does not make sense. To explain data in a better way, we explain data with the help of range. Range means lowest to highest.
Highest.
What is the lowest score?
45.
45. What is the highest?
75.
75.
So the range is the score is 75 minus 45. How much?
30.
30.
30. Range is 30. Now range is telling us that on 30 scores, people differ. For example, or maybe we can say that the difference between the highest and the lowest is 30. So this will also give us a particular hint about whether the distribution is heterogeneous or homogeneous. Do you know what is heterogeneous and homogeneous?
Mixable and non-mixable.
Homogeneous is with similar characteristics, and heterogeneous is different, right? So, so with the help of 30, we can say that there were a couple of students those who scored just average marks. Okay. Another measure to understand about this variability is called average deviation. Average deviation. So mean is 63. 63. How much this particular score is deviated from the mean?
33.
No.
From the mean?
12.
12.
How much this number is deviated from the mean?
4.
4. So each and every number is deviated from the mean. Correct. And if we know how much is the average deviation, we, along with the mean, we will be able to explain the data in a much better way.
So will we be taking 59 because it's the last in the question, or we will be using?
Let's see how much this particular number is deviated.
All right.
7, 8.
All right. 8.
How much this? 12. So each and every number of the distribution is deviated from the mean.
What do we call that? You used a term.
Deviated.
Deviated.
Right. So we are going to find out average deviation here.
You used a term when you were explaining something, and you used the term before deviation. What was that?
It was average deviation only, Isha.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So now we know, see, very practically, if you see, mean is 63, right? But every score written above, whose mean is 63, is deviated from the 63, correct? Some are close, some are far. So we need to know an average number, so that if we explain it to people, it will make more sense. Correct?
Yeah.
Everybody on the same page?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now let us try and find out average deviation. So we have a small data set, 6, 8, 10, 12 and 14, only 5 numbers. ठीक है? Sum बताओ कितना आ रहा है?
50.
What is the n? N means this total number of sample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
What would be the mean?
10.
ठीक है, अब हम निकालेंगे डेविएशन. So 10 is the mean. How much 6 is deviated?
4.
4.
Minus 4.
Minus.
How much 8 is deviated?
Minus 2.
Minus 2.
Then we have 10 minus 10 is equal to 0. Then we have 12 minus 10 is equal to 2. Then we have 14 minus 10 is equal to
4.
4.
So 0 is the deviation.
Sum करिए इसका.
0.
0.
In psychology, nothing is 0. Right. Let's take an example. You are standing in a particular position on a street. You take a step forward, right, towards south, and then you take a step back. So if we talk about science, we are again on the same position. But in psychology, we have nothing called 0. So in psychology, we understand it in terms of कि वो बंदा पहले आगे बढ़ा, then पीछे आया. So this is a very layman example.
Right.
In psychology, nothing is minus. So remove minus and do the sum.
12.
12. How many numbers do we have?
5.
So 12 upon 5 is equal to 2.4 is the average deviation. So if you talk about formula, average deviation is equal to summation of x. ये होता है 12 divided by n. We have 2.4. So if we are explaining this particular data, we can say that the data has a mean of 10 with an average deviation of 2.4. Now this makes more sense than just explaining the mean. Correct?
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
आगे बढ़े?
Sir, 1 second.
स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो जिसने कॉपी नहीं किया हो. But my writing is too bad.
Sir, will you please explain the -1 example? मेरा network issue की वजह से मैंने
वो मैंने एक psychology science बताया आपको मैंने. That has nothing to do related with statistics. So in psychology, there is nothing zero. Zero कुछ नहीं होता.
Negative also for that matter, because even if the numbers were not same, we will still be removing the negatives, right?
Yeah. So number हमें negatives को remove करना ही पड़ता है. Right. So there is
सर
nothing.
आपने जिस यस सर आपने जिस साइन से समझाया सर वो साइन नहीं, जैसे आपने समेशन ये एवरेज डेविएशन इज इक्वल टू सर उसके बाद जो आपने लिखा है दैट
समेशन ऑफ x डिफरेंस होता है ये है 12.
अच्छा
x is
सर
the mean.
x के x
E and a line is what
Okay.
we define summation as.
इसको ऐसे
क्या
लिखते हैं.
सर जो दो
Summation of
लाइंस है
x और ये 2 लाइन. अच्छा
सर
एक
these
बात
two lines are difference of
I don't
each
know,
digit
just
from the mean.
just the term.
These two lines
No,
are
sir,
the
it is
modulus that we have to take
एक
only
बात
the
और बता
positive
दूंगा
value.
आपको. सुन लीजिए आराम से. ये जो साइंस है ना ये आपको हर बुक में अलग मिलेंगे. Please do not get confused about the science. Just know how we are solving the science. ठीक है? ये एक साइन है. इस समेशन का मतलब होता है इन सब का सम, और ये x मॉड्यूलेशन या जो भी बार कह लो इसका मतलब होता है ये 4 2. ठीक?
Sir,
So when we
may
do
I
the
say
summation,
something?
it comes
Sir, may
out
I
to
say
be 2.
something?
Yeah.
Hello, may I say something? Sir, this is the absolute value. These two bars are put for absolute value. We need not consider plus or minus. This is only the digit which we are considering.
Cool. We have an explanation. ठीक है? समझ में आ गया?
हाँ जी.
आगे बढ़े?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you are explaining the example.
आगे बढ़े अब. मैं ये एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था.
Sir.
बोलिए. कोई प्रॉब्लम है किसी को?
No, sir.
No, sir.
ठीक है. So next we have so there are few problems in average deviation, right? Statistically it does not explains the data well enough, right? Because the way we are taking out signs, minus sign is not allowed. ठीक? It will lead to few errors. So another good way which is acceptable in every science, every statistics is called standard deviation. Standard deviation. ठीक है? So average deviation निकालना आपको आ गया, but now nobody uses average deviation. Everybody uses standard deviation. In the next few days also, when we will be talking about different kind of statistics, we will be talking about standard deviation only, right? So pay good amount of attention to this particular technique. This is also the same measure of deviation which average deviation assesses. It's just that there is a difference between the calculation. Let's say we have a score of 9, 10, 12, 15, 9, 11, 12, 10, 13, 9. Cool?
Yes, sir.
mean is represented somewhere. In some books they write mn, in some places they write x bar. So do not get confused. Tell me what is the mean here.
11.
Cool. Right. So we create a table. Can I delete this?
नहीं सर, एक सेकंड रुक जाओ.
Just write down the numbers, guys.
Yeah. Done.
Done. So we make a table here. X is the frequency. 9, 10, 12, 15, 9, 11, 12, 10, 13, 9. X bar is 11.
Yes, sir.
No, 12. X bar is what? Mean. Okay. Yeah.
Mean निकालो दोबारा.
ठीक है. 11 ही है.
It's 11.
Yes, sir, 11 है.
है सर.
ये समझ में आया?
हाँ जी.
Yes, sir.
X minus x bar. बताओ जल्दी बताओ.
2.
Minus 2.
Sorry, -2, -1.
-1.
1. 4. -2. 0. 1. -1. 2. and minus.
ठीक है.
Yes.
अब एवरेज डेविएशन में तो हम सिर्फ माइनस साइन हटा के सिर्फ सम कर रहे थे. फिर कोई आया है अब. दिस इज सुपर फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग गाइस. ठीक है. सो नाउ द बेस्ट वे और द राइट वे टू डू इज दिस x minus x bar का होल स्क्वायर. कितना हुआ?
4.
अब माइनस साइन भी अपने आप हट जाएगा और वो टर्म भी करेक्ट हो जाएगी.
1, 1, 16, 4, 0, 1, 1, 4, 4.
ठीक है. इनका सम कर लीजिए. इसका समेशन कितना हुआ?
सर 36.
36. स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन को डिनोट करते हैं आधे ना से. ठीक है.
Okay, sir.
उसका फॉर्मूला होता है समेशन ऑफ x माइनस x बार का होल स्क्वायर अपॉन n माइनस 1. ठीक. ये फॉर्मूला याद कर लेना बस. उतार लिया. नाउ दिस we have already calculated, which is 36. n is 10 minus 1.
4 आ गया. Okay, 2. Square root भी है.
Sir, answer is 2.
So here we will say that the mean, when we have to explain this particular data set, फिर कोई आया है guys. क्या कर रहे हो आप लोग? So when we explain this data, we say a mean is 11 and the standard deviation is 2. And this is the preferred method to calculate or to talk about a particular data, to describe a particular data. ठीक है? Any questions up to here?
Sir, I'm asking why we are finding deviation.
Why we are finding deviation? To explain the data in a better way, to describe the data in a better way, to know how the scores are deviated from the mean. ये तो पूरा भी एग्जाम्पल दिया है बेटा मैंने. आगे बढ़ूं, दोबारा समझाना है ये. और कोई anybody, if anybody would like to explain
or ask?
Explain to the question why we are calculating deviation.
Okay, so because there are certain extreme values, so we need to be just to the entire data. So that is why we take the deviation into consideration. We do not use the average one because it is still a wrong method as per math and science. So that is why we go for the standard deviation, where we take the square because it automatically removes the negative sign and then calculate it with the square root.
So
And
if you look at this data,
Hmm.
we have scores starting from 9 and it goes to 13.
Hmm.
Mean is 11.
50.
If we just say that the mean of this particular data set is 11, it will not serve the purpose. But if we say that the mean is 11 plus minus 2, plus minus 2 is the way to write standard deviation,
Hmm.
then we say that we are explaining the data in a better way. ठीक है? आगे बढ़े?
हाँ जी.
If you guys want a 5 minutes breather, do let me know.
That's okay.
Yes, sir, please.
ठीक है, 5 मिनट बाद शुरू करते हैं. You can go have tea and water, whatever.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir, for 5 minutes.
You're welcome.
Sir, meanwhile, can you please tell me again the difference between inferential and descriptive statistics?
Descriptive statistics is the statistics which we use to describe the data, wherein we are just describing the data, doing nothing. Inferential
Okay.
statistics is where we take out inferences. We use it to predict something.
Okay. And while doing research, we use the inferential statistics, right?
Both.
Okay.
Sir, will you please explain the example जो आपने minus पे दिया था?
Minus का example ये दिया था कि in psychology there is nothing called zero. Right? In science there is something called zero. 2 minus 2 is equal to 0.
Yes.
But psychology also takes into account कि वो आगे क्यों बढ़ा था, 2 points उसने क्यों लिए, and then why he came back. Psychology के लिए वो 2 plus 2 4 हो जाएगा.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
जी.
सर सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी आपने बताया था कि दिस इज ओनली मीडियन, राइट?
Mean, median, mode.
Okay, all three.
Range.
All right.
Yeah, but central tendency is considered to as a mean, median, mode.
Okay.
Descriptive statistics also considered as standard deviation, average deviation, range. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, while explaining the population and sample, you somehow highlight the word parameter. Can you please explain that?
Whenever we are doing something with the population,
Yes, sir.
and if we are able to measure something out of the population, we call it a parameter.
When we measure something out of the population, then we call
If we
parameter.
are able to,
Okay.
but we are never able to measure something about population. We are only doing things with the sample, so we call it statistics.
Only for finite population we can measure.
Finite की population भी हम नहीं measure कर सकते due to feasibility.
Okay.
What is a variable?
Any
So some
quantity that
factors that can
changes.
vary.
Correct. Let's take example of your IQ is one variable, and then you have happiness is another variable. So the range of correlation would be from -1 to +1. ठीक? With 0 in between. So if this is the range, your answer cannot exceed +1, your answer cannot go below -1. ठीक है? Now there are three numbers written here, -1, 0 and +1. If your answer is somewhere related to somewhere between 0 to -1, you have a negative relationship, negative correlation. If your answer is from 0 to +1, your correlation is positive. ठीक?
Right.
If your answer is near to 0, then you have a 0 correlation.
Okay.
ठीक? Practically speaking, or theoretically also, that in psychology you will never find a 0 correlation, because we human beings are so complex, and our whatever variables comes into play, they are all connected to each other. So either it will be minus or it will be positive. ठीक है? When we say positive correlation, we say that when one variable increases, another one increases. When one variable goes down, another one goes down.
Goes down.
So they move in same direction. ठीक है?
Directly proportional, right? So,
What we do not say here is that if IQ increases, happiness increases. There is a difference between both of them, right? If happiness decreases, IQ decreases. When we are using these terms, we are saying that one variable is dependent on each other. In correlation, we're not talking about dependence. We are only talking about relationship. When I say if one variable increases, it could be IQ, it could be happiness also. आया समझ में?
So, need examples again because
Let's say I say greater IQ will lead to greater happiness.
so one variable is completely it's
When
like
I'm saying
increasing.
that greater IQ will lead to greater happiness, that means I am saying it is the IQ who will lead to happiness increase.
The degrees may differ because there might be more factors.
So when I say I am talking about leading one variable to another, it is not correlation. We're not talking about correlation. Then we are talking about regression. We're talking about prediction. Correlation does not talk about regression. Correlation does not talk about prediction. Although it is a basic of both of them, but correlation only talks about the relationship between two variables. That's it. Which one influences which one? It does not talk about that.
both are independently.
Both are independent, but just they are related to each other.
Sir, regression
Right.
नहीं समझ आया.
Regression तो अभी समझ में आएगा भी नहीं, बाद में समझ में आएगा. When I say that to predict something, let's say I want to predict Isha, right? That how Isha would behave in a particular manner. I would have to know Isha first. The more I know, the more I will be able to predict. ठीक?
That is correlation.
But when I'm talking about just the relationship between two variables, I will never say that I predict something or Isha predicts something.
So here, like you, okay, you took the example of knowing Isha. So if you are saying that the more I know her, I will be able to predict her. If
Yes.
I say the more I tell you, the more you will know, is that regression, or for that matter,
No, regression is based on correlation, but the values of correlation which you will solve will not tell you which influences whom.
Okay.
Sir, but how we will explain variable?
Variable is anything which
Distinguishing
varies.
features basically.
Anything which varies.
Distinguishing features बोल सकते हैं सर.
Variable
सर
could
आप
be
ये कह रहे हैं
anything.
कि सर आईक्यू मतलब आईक्यू हैप्पीनेस का कॉज है या फिर हैप्पीनेस से आईक्यू बढ़ा है, सर ये चीज है.
अगर हमने cause का word इस्तेमाल किया,
नहीं सर,
so
कॉज
then
सॉरी.
then we are not talking about correlation, and it is a wrong explanation of correlation.
Okay.
The correlation only talks about the relationship between two variables, let's say A and B, and it says that if the correlation is positive, then if one variable goes up, another will also go down. It does not say that because of which variable which one goes up.
Okay.
So, sir, in the example that you gave of Isha, can you please explain with that what would be the variables in that knowing Isha, if
See, I and Isha would be variable here. If I have to predict Isha, that when Isha would cry or Isha would laugh, first of all, I would have to know her. So when I'm just restricting myself of knowing Isha and Isha knowing me, then I would say it is a correlation. And when we both predict each other, we would say that we're talking about something more than correlation, and we're talking about regression.
So I have a question, sir. How is IQ and happiness, like if IQ is going up and happiness is going down, and happiness is going up and IQ is going down?
सर मतलब कोरिलेशन में हम सिर्फ दो वेरिएबल्स का रिलेशन बताते हैं कि है या नहीं, वो रिलेशन कैसे बना हम ये नहीं बताएंगे,
और किसने किसको बनाया हम ये भी नहीं बताएंगे.
और किसका किस पे इम्पैक्ट है will not be described.
ये तीन समझ में आया आपको correlation?
Yes sir.
Yes sir.
Plus minus 0. Let's say we have a variable again, IQ and happiness. And if after solving we come to know that the correlation is positive. So when I say correlation is positive, I can only say that if one variable goes up, another will also go up. I will never say that which one is the first one to go up and which one is the last one to go up. आया समझ में?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Which one causing which one? See, if you talk about theoretically, happiness cannot lead to increase in IQ. It is the other way around always. IQ will always lead to more happiness. So correlation will not talk about these causes. Correlation will only talk about the relationship between two variables, A and B. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Have you guys heard of independent and dependent variable?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yes.
What is
Independent variable is like one which is independent, is not related with other variable, and dependent में the other variable is dependent on the first variable.
Independent variable shows us the cause.
Yes.
And the dependent shows us the effect, like current.
Correct. For example, if I have to study the effect of light on my sleeping, so light would be independent and sleeping.
So we lost your voice. half an hour. प्रैक्टिकल की कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन है किसी के पास, कब होंगे?
क्या मुझे कोई मोड का फॉर्मूला बता सकते हैं?
किसका?
मोड
का 3 median minus 2 mean.
Will you please repeat again?
3 medians.
Okay.
Minus 2 means.
Okay.
मोहित भाई, असाइनमेंट कैसे जमा कराए थे तूने अभी? अच्छा, उसने ग्रुप में किसने लिखा हुआ था? शायद मोहित लिखा हुआ था उसके ऊपर, उसने कहा मैंने करा दिया ऑफलाइन।
There was some girl, I think, who did that.
We can do offline submissions.
वही पूछ।
Ask for her, yes.
अच्छा,
Do we have library access?
Sir is there, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think you have library access, Sadhvik.
No.
So when we talk about correlation, we are just talking about the relationship. We are not saying who is causing whom to elaborate, to move further or move downward. Just the relation, that's it.
Right.
समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. So in positive, one goes up, another goes up, one goes down, another goes down. ठीक है? Who is the first one to go down? We are not talking about that here. We're just saying if one goes up, another goes up. If one goes down, another goes down. ठीक? If the relationship is negative, then if one goes up, another goes down. If this goes up, this will go down. So the relationship will be inversely proportionate.
Right.
If the answer, right, if the data is bad enough, then it will give you a zero correlation, which means there is no correlation between two variables. ठीक है?
ठीक.
आगे समझ में?
Yes, sir.
आगे बढ़े?
Yes,
sir.
ठीक. So हमारे पास इग्नू के हिसाब से दो मेथड्स हैं समझने के लिए. One is called Carl Pearson. One is called Carl Pearson. Another one is called Spearman. Spearman rank. ठीक है? This method is parametric. This method is non-parametric. ठीक? ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
इन दोनों में से कोई भी एक सम सॉल्व करने के लिए आएगा. Either they will give Carl Pearson or they will give Spearman rank.
Okay.
ठीक? And if you put your focus on how we are solving both the sums, you will come to know one difference about parametric and non-parametric. ठीक?
Okay, sir.
Start करें?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है.
So what are these two forms of? Sorry, I just lost you there.
Correlation.
Correlation.
Let's say we have two data set again. We can name it X and Y, or you can name it anyone else. We have 5, 10, 5, 11, 12, 4, 3, 2, 7, 1. Then we have 1, 6, 2, 8, 5, 1, 4, 6, 5, 2. ठीक है? We can also say that these are the marks of two different subjects. So we want to see whether there is a correlation between them or not, whether there is a relationship between these two or not. ठीक है?
ठीक है.
सबसे पहले निकालिए x स्क्वायर.
25.
सॉल्व करिए जल्दी जल्दी.
2500.
25,
100.
100,
25. 121.
25 to 121,
144.
144,
16.
16,
9.
9, 4, 49, 1.
and we have to find out y square.
1. 36. 4.
64, 25, 1, 16, 36, but it's 25 and 4.
ठीक है?
हाँ जी.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
निकालिए x और y निकालिए. x into y.
5, 60. 10, 88.
5,
560. 10. 88.
88, 60,
4.
4,
12.
12,
12.
12,
35. 2.
35, 3. 2, sorry, yes.
ठीक है?
हाँ जी.
इन सब के समेशन निकाल लीजिए. इसका भी, इसका भी, इसका भी, इसका भी, इसका
The
भी.
summation x is 60,
60.
summation y is 40.
x स्क्वायर का भी.
सबका निकालना है.
नहीं, x स्क्वायर का निकाल रहे हैं. इतना फास्ट नहीं है.
फोर 94 I guess. मैंने मेमोरी किया है तो प्लीज चेक कर लें.
नेक्स्ट
494 ही आ रहे हैं.
494. टू
212. ओके.
एक्स वाई का भी.
जी.
So 288.
Correct. ठीक है? So we have 5 values and we would be using all of them to find out a correlation. So we have a formula here which we need to apply. R is equal to, R is coefficient of correlation, n summation x y minus summation of x summation of y divided by under root n summation x square minus summation x का whole square n summation y square minus summation का whole square. This is the formula. लिख लिया
सर ये हाँ n into जो आपने summation of x square less summation of x square लिखा है, that will be n first multiplied by that and then subtracted, or n is the whole square whole into bracket for ex square minus ex square, that will be 0.
n will be first into by x square.
ठीक है
लिख लिया. अब इसकी वैल्यूज उतारते हैं. So we have n is equal to
10
into
288
288
minus
60
into 40 divided by
10 into 494
10 into 494 minus 60 का whole square.
हाँ
minus
60 का whole square.
अच्छा okay.
Then we have 10 into 212 minus 40 का whole square.
अच्छा, ये n का वैल्यू कहाँ से निकला?
n काउंट करिए कितने लोग हैं हमारे पास. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10.
ओके ओके.
सॉल्व कर दीजिए इसको गाइस.
880 okay.
So what is this E sign?
It's not E, it's summation.
Summation.
पॉइंट्स में ही आएगा सर ये तो.
जी बिल्कुल पॉइंट्स में आएगा. -1 और +1 से बाहर जा ही नहीं सकता. And if the answer is going beyond that, that means you have done some calculation mistake.
लाल तो बाहर ही जा रहा है.
तो कुछ गलती कर रहे हैं आप लोग.
क्या होगा बोलो. I'll just check.
Please do it guys. Divdiman, you are correct. Let others take out.
Sir, 0.564.
Correct. Let others also calculate.
Yes.
ठीक है स्वाति जी, आपका भी ठीक है.
0.575.
करेक्ट है, ठीक है आपको.
सर मैं बीच में एक चीज पूछ लूं.
पूछिए.
सर जैसे ये हमारा माइनर डिफरेंस आ रहा है, जैसे मेरा 0.564 आ रहा है, किसी का 0.572 आ रहा है, या 571 सर, उसमें आंसर में कितना मैटर करेगा सर ये?
क्योंकि आप लोग राउंड ऑफ सही से नहीं कर रहे हो इसलिए ऐसा आ रहा है। अगर आप 0.52 डिजिट तक आपको छोड़ना होता है तो जस्ट राइट डाउन 0.755 if you will use the calculator properly along with all the rounding of digits, you will get the same answer. पॉइंट 575 ठीक है मोहित चार जी। सबका आ गया?
Yes, sir.
Can anybody explain me the meaning of 0.575? In psychology, or more into the interpretation of the numbers.
That will be positive correlation.
Is it strong enough or average?
Sir,
it is strong enough because it is more than half of the positive side also. It will be considered as as a average positive because it's very close to half of it.
Do you guys know what is something called variance? Variance क्या होता है? Huh?
No idea, sir.
We can say uniqueness. Amount of percentage of uniqueness. So if we have percentage of uniqueness, let's say you get R is equal to 0.57. ठीक है? ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
इसका interpretation होगा कि both the variables have a significant, both the variables have a positive significant correlation. Or if you people would like to elaborate more, they can write average medium, average correlation, average positive correlation. Why I'm telling you that this is average? Because when we talk about the percentage of uniqueness, commonness, let's say we have a Venn diagram. ठीक है? A union B सुना है?
हाँ जी.
So जब हम percentage की बात करते हैं उस percentage को बोलते हैं variance. And how do we find out? We just do the square. कितना हुआ? Around 25% आएगा. So 25% of the uniqueness इन दोनों में similarity है.
Okay.
ठीक है? So but ये आगे की बात है, इसमें आपको भी नहीं जाना है.
नहीं आया समझ.
अभी आएगा, बाद में आएगा, अनोवा के टाइम पे आएगा. Variance का मतलब है you can, in layman's term, you can understand, you can take it as a percentage of unique commonness.
Okay.
Right. So we know the correlation, we know the relationship between two variables is 0.57. So if we want to know the variance between the two, for example, how much percentage of commonness in them is that, then we have to square it. 0.57 into 0.57, it will come out to around 25%.
Okay.
Right. So अभी आपको यहाँ पे नहीं जाना है. So whenever you will get an answer of 0.57, just write a line about it that both the variables have a average positive correlation. That's it.
Okay.
So that is coming 32%.
Yeah, you can say 32%. Okay. Right. But if we talk about old books. So in old books, they used to consider it average, but right now we consider it as high correlation. Right. So you can write average also, you can write inching towards high correlation, inching towards strong correlation. It would be same meaning. You will be more bothered about the value. ठीक है?
Okay.
And I am more bothered about the interpretation of this value. ठीक? So this is a positive correlation. We can say that if one variable moves up, another will also moves up. ठीक है? आगे correlation निकालना.
Yes.
फटाफट डेटा लिखो जल्दी से एक और, मुझे बताओ कितना आंसर आएगा इसका। लिखो x इज इक्वल टू 256 415 8261 8261. Then we have y is equal to 1723 1 2 3 4 12 11 5 10 5। इसका बताइए कितना आ रहा है, जल्दी से फटाफट सॉल्व करके कोरिलेशन।
सर ये पहले एग्जांपल की तरह ही है, बस वैल्यूज आर इंटरचेंज।
What's the answer?
.587.
सेम आंसर आएगा बिल्कुल जो पहले आपका आया।
नहीं सेम तो अच्छा फिर मैंने हो सकता है गलती कर ली।
ठीक है, आप राउंड ऑफ करने में गलती कर रहे हैं।
यस सर, क्योंकि नंबर सिर्फ इंटरचेंज है।
करेक्ट। सो अगर ये एक दूसरे को लीड करते, फॉर एग्जांपल x1 वुड लीड टू y, तो आंसर चेंज हो जाता। ठीक है, हमने दोनों की वैल्यूज को रिप्लेस किया बट आंसर रिमेन्स सेम। ठीक है, तो हियर वी आर ओनली टॉकिंग अबाउट द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन टू वेरिएबल्स। हु कम्स फर्स्ट डज नॉट मैटर।
Okay. I think I took out the xy value as 289 rather than 288.
Yeah, it's 29.
ठीक है, and the interpretation would be that there is a significant, we cannot say significant or insignificant, right? इसके बाद भी एक टेस्टिंग बचती है अभी, that whether this value is significant enough or not significant, which is not in your course. Is there anyone who has a question paper of previous years?
Not right now.
Okay.
Sir, any year?
Any year, yes.
Just yes, sir.
Can you check whether do they have any question for correlation or not?
Sir, just a minute. Yes, sir. One is there.
Can you please take a photograph and send it on the group?
Okay, sir. Just a minute. Sir, can I sir अभी मैं dictate कर दूं क्या? So it's easy.
Dictate नहीं करना है।
X, हाँ X is.
Dictate नहीं करना है, dictate नहीं करना है, फोटो भेजना है पूरे क्वेश्चन।
नहीं करना है। So how to send the picture?
You don't have mobile phone?
You shouldn't send it on the WhatsApp group. He's saying.
Okay. Just a minute. Yes, I'll send. Yes, sir.
आपका ये जो आपका जो है वो आपको मैं
सर ये व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में डाल दिया मैंने।
Can anybody see that they have asked to calculate Carl Pearson?
Yes, a Carl Pearson coefficient of correlation.
ठीक है, इसके अलावा और कोई क्वेश्चन है आपके पास? अनोवा का कोई क्वेश्चन है उसमें?
किसका सर? इनोवा?
अनोवा।
यस सर, देखना पड़ेगा सर, मैं देख लेती हूँ।
सर एनोवा तो ऑलमोस्ट एवरी ऑल्टरनेट क्वेश्चन पेपर में है ही।
ये सब ऑल्टरनेट
सर है सर।
उसका फोटो
सर एक और
एक ईयर में स्पीयरमैन आएगा, एक ईयर में वो आएगा पियर्सन आएगा। ठीक है, अब ये जो फिफ्थ क्वेश्चन है ये देखिए, जो इन्होंने बाद में भेजा है फोटो, अनोवा की पिक्चर है, इसमें लास्ट की 2 लाइंस है क्रिटिकल वैल्यूज ऑफ एफ।
यस सर।
ठीक है, तो ये जो वैल्यूज आ रही हैं ये उसी नॉर्मल प्रोबेबिलिटी कर्व से आ रही हैं वैल्यूज, एंड इसकी एक अलग टेबल होती है। ठीक है, विच वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट बाय आवरसेल्फ। इग्नू में ये टेबल, ये वैल्यूज उन्होंने आपको खुद लिख के दे दी, बिकॉज दे कैन नॉट गिव यू द टेबल्स। किसी के पास स्टैट्स की कोई बुक है?
नहीं सर, अभी नहीं।
कोई भी बुक उठा के देखेंगे तो उसके लास्ट टेबल्स होती हैं।
हाँ, टेबल्स होते हैं, उसमें वैल्यूज दिए होते हैं।
हमको वैल्यू खुद ढूंढनी पड़ती है टू फाइंड आउट द क्रिटिकल वैल्यू, बट क्योंकि इग्नू के पास रिसोर्सेज नहीं होंगी तो वो दे कैन नॉट प्रोवाइड टेबल्स, तो इन्होंने आपको कुछ वैल्यूज उठा के दे दी कुछ टेबल्स के लिए, जिसके अंदर आप चेक कर सकते हैं वेदर दिस वैल्यू इज सिग्निफिकेंट इनफ और नॉट। बट वो ये वैल्यूज आपको कोरिलेशन में नहीं देंगे, दे हैव नेवर गिवन इट। सो व्हेन अ क्वेश्चन of correlation will come, it will come as from the following data, find either Pearson or find either Spearman rank and interpret it. When we say interpret it, we cannot say that it is significant or not. We can only say that it is a positive correlation or it is a negative correlation. That's it.
Means हमें उसमें level of significance find out नहीं करना होगा।
नहीं करना, क्योंकि आपके पास कोई तरीका नहीं है ना। They are not giving you either values or they are not even giving you the tables.
ओके
सर आपका बाद में ग्रुप में वो फोटो डाल सकते हैं टैब टेबल का, मींस कैसा दिखता है हमें? मैं
देख लूंगा, बिल्कुल दिखा सकता हूँ
सर। ये गूगल पे है सारी,
गूगल पे टेबल मिल जाएंगी सारी आपको, आर की भी मिल जाएंगी, काय स्क्वायर की भी मिल जाएंगी। तो जिस
क्वेश्चन पढ़ते कैसे, जैसे ये आर ढूंढ लिया, इसके बाद जो आप कह रहे फाइंड आउट,
उसे पढ़ने के लिए एक और कैलकुलेशन करनी पड़ती है, इसलिए आई एम नॉट गेटिंग इनटू दैट थिंग बिकॉज़ दैट विल नॉट कम इन योर पेपर।
सर नाम बता दीजिए बस सर।
उसको डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम कहते हैं।
ओके थैंक यू सर।
तो पहले डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम निकालना पड़ता है, फिर उसको आर के सामने कैलकुलेट करके तब क्रिटिकल वैल्यू निकालते हैं।
सर ये जो स्पीयरमैन्स आरएचओ निकालना होता है कंप्यूट
स्पीयरमैन रैंक रो जी,
हाँ, तो वो और ये डिफरेंट होंगे?
बिल्कुल डिफरेंट होंगे, हालांकि बोथ ऑफ देम आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कोरिलेशन।
वो कुछ पार्शियल कोरिलेशन के बारे में ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस हैं कंपेयर टू द डायरेक्ट स्पीयरमैन कोरिलेशन से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस। सॉरी सर, या सर पार्शियल कोरिलेशन
सिर्फ और सिर्फ थ्योरेटिकल आएगा, एग्जाम में कभी भी सॉल्व करने को नहीं आएगा। पार्शियल कोरिलेशन इटसेल्फ टेक्स 1 hour टू सॉल्व।
अच्छा, पर सर इट इज देयर इन दिसंबर 2018 का क्वेश्चन पेपर।
भेजिए
हाँ
साइज सर वो थ्योरी में ही है,
थ्योरी ही आएगा सिर्फ। कोरिलेशन कम से कम 10 तरीके के कोरिलेशन होते हैं, राइट? इट डिपेंड्स ऑन योर डेटा इटसेल्फ। पार्शियल कोरिलेशन का मतलब होता है, फॉर एग्जांपल हियर लेट्स सी हियर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कोरिलेशन ऑफ x and y, correct? There could be another variable also which we say z. So when we find out correlation, we call it multiple correlation. और जब सिर्फ 2 का होता है तो उसको हम बोलते हैं बाइवेरिएट कोरिलेशन। ठीक है?
यस सर।
यस सर।
कोरिलेशन 2 से ज्यादा चीजों के बीच में भी तो फाइंड आउट कर सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल वी कैन बी 3 फ्रेंड्स इंस्टेड ऑफ 2. So if we have to find out correlation, that correlation is called as multiple correlation. Now let us say,
and in between 2, sir, we called it. In between 2, we called it
bivariate.
Bivariant, okay.
ये स्टैटिस्टिक्स के नेम है, आपको नहीं समझना है, इसको याद नहीं करना है आपको, ठीक है? जब हम बात करते हैं 3 चीजों की और हम उसमें कहते हैं कि हमें 2 का जानना है और 1 को खत्म करना है, उसमें से पार्शियल आउट करना है, उसको बोलते हैं पार्शियल कोरिलेशन। In this particular example, we are partialing out this particular bracket. Let's say we have three variables all together working at same. So we have to find out A and B, the correlation of A and B by partialing out C. Let's take another example. I and Isha are friends. So I am meeting at a particular place. So this place would be C. If we have to take out the impact of C on our relationship, we have to partial it out. Let's say gender. ठीक है, A and B, gender will always have an impact on the relationship between 2 variables. So if we have to know the exact relationship between 2 variables, we have to find out a way so that we can partial out gender. The effect of gender, we have to reduce it. We have to take it out from the relationship. That is called as partial correlation. ठीक है
सर, ये हमने जो अभी सम किए हैं दोनों, इसके कार्ल पियर्सन वाले जो कोरिलेशन,
ये बाइवेरिएट के, एक स्पीयरमैन है और हम नेक्स्ट
नहीं सर, मतलब मैं यही पूछ रही हूँ, तो आपने जैसे बोला कि हमें सिग्निफिकेंस टेस्टिंग नहीं आएगी, तो ये हमारा अभी जो आंसर है, दिस इज द कंप्लीट आंसर,
दिस इज द फाइनल आंसर, इट्स जस्ट दैट यू हैव टू इंटरप्रेट इट।
अच्छा, इंटरप्रिटेशन करके ये फाइनल आंसर है।
करेक्ट,
ठीक है।
एनी मोर क्वेश्चंस स्टिल हियर?
So I've sent that question, जो partial correlation वाला on the group.
वो पार्शियल कोरिलेशन थ्योरी है, उसके बाद वो है स्पीयरमैन रो का क्वेश्चन है जो सॉल्व करना है।
सॉल्व करने को कभी भी नहीं आएगा वो। ऐसे ही आपके कोर्स में अनोवा 2 तरीके के होते हैं, एक वन वे, एक टू वे, दोनों आपके कोर्स में है। बट सिर्फ एग्जाम में सॉल्व करने के लिए वन वे आएगा, टू वे 1 घंटा लगता है सॉल्व करने में। दैट इज व्हाई वी डू इट विद द हेल्प ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर।
राइट, ओके सर, थैंक्स।
ठीक है, चलो देन एंजॉय योरसेल्फ, सी यू नेक्स्ट टाइम। नेक्स्ट टाइम
सर एक सर
बोलिए बोलिए बोलिए।
स्टार्टिंग में आपने आउटलाइनर बोला था सर, थोड़ा सा
आउटलायर।
यस सर, आउटलाइनर क्या है सर?
आउटलायर होता है जो एक्सट्रीम वैल्यूज होती है मीन में से, किसी एक डेटा सेट में कोई एक्सट्रीम वैल्यू होती है, वो भी आपको
आउटलायर है वो वैल्यू दैट इज लाइंग आउटसाइड द यूजुअल डेटा।
फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर 10 लोगों का डेटा है और 10 के 10 पास हुए हैं, सबके 7, 8, 9 मार्क्स है, बेचारा एक फेल हो गया गलती से, तो वो आउटलायर बन जाएगा। ठीक है
सर आप क्या सर प्रैक्टिकल्स भी लेते हैं क्या सर?
प्रैक्टिकल्स 2 साल पहले तक तो लेते थे, अब तो पता नहीं कैसे हो रहे हैं।
ओके सर हो तो अभी हमारा शेड्यूल नहीं आया, तो इसलिए आस्किंग की।
प्रैक्टिकल्स होपफुली मैं नहीं लूंगा शायद आप लोगों के, बिकॉज़ आई एम नॉट इन दिल्ली एनीमोर, सो लेट्स सी क्या होता है।
सर 2 साल से प्रैक्टिकल्स हुए हैं या नहीं हुए?
ऑनलाइन हुए हैं, एक बार हुए हैं बस, वो भी सिर्फ मजाक हुआ है।
तो इस बार का आपको कुछ नहीं पता सर?
नहीं, नो आइडिया।
और सर ऑनलाइन सबमिशंस हो रही हैं असाइनमेंट की?
No idea. We are only supposed to teach you. Rest of the things we have no idea what is happening with Ignu.
Sir, who's the person who will be able to address?
I think you should call RC.
ये सर हो रही है हमारी ऑनलाइन सबमिशन।
Okay, thanks Rajat.
हाँ, बट सर प्रैक्टिकल्स कुछ नहीं, सब आज में होने लग गए सर, प्रैक्टिकल्स हमारे नहीं।
हाँ, I think अगर आप
सबमिशन तो नहीं हुई है ना
ऑनलाइन सबमिशन असाइनमेंट्स की, बट प्रैक्टिकल की कोई नहीं आई हमारे आरसी के लिए, बाकी आरसी 2 में हो गया है प्रैक्टिकल।
हाँ, कई जगह पहले भी मैंने सुना था हो गए हैं, बट यहाँ पे नहीं हुए हैं अभी तक।
Sir, now can I ask my queries regarding parametric and parametric statistics?
क्लास बेटा 5th डे पे पूछेंगे हम वो सब।
ठीक है,
अभी बहुत सारे सम सॉल्व करने।
ओके।
लास्ट क्वेश्चन, जो डेटा एक्वायर करते हैं ये नेगेटिव कोरिलेशन है या पॉजिटिव कोरिलेशन है? ये बेसिकली टेंडिंग टुवर्ड्स होता है ना, पॉजिटिव है तो 1+1 की तरफ, नहीं तो -1 की तरफ।
जी दो से
ऑलराइट,
चलो
ओके थैंक यू सर।
थैंक्स सर।